Pradeep?
Yes, sir.
Are you, am I?
Not yet, sir. Video is not coming, sir. Audio is
Start
quite
my,
nice.
okay, start my video I have given. Even now?
No, sir, not yet.
কোভিড টেস্টের লাগে বললাম না অন সব রেগে ইউ করতে লাগে
Now?
Yep. Not yet, sir. It is
Why it is
coming,
not?
I guess.
Now?
Not yet, but it is moving.
Just a
Actually.
minute.
Not...
Then that means I have to disconnect. I am having laptop. Any one I will keep, no? I am having in mobile also. That's why maybe.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Respected participants, please mute yourself. Respected participants, please do not unmute yourself. Please keep mute. Yes, sir.
Now, Pradeep?
Yes, you are there now.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir.
I am Abel. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Ma. Ready for singers? Hello. Hello.
Pradeep? Hello, Pradeep.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is the video disturbing?
Yes, sir. There is echo actually is going on.
Acha, then okay. So one device I will cut off, no? Better?
Yes, sir. Two devices should not be. One device you mute yourself, sir.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning. Here, cannot hear.
Pradeep, hello. Hello, Pradeep. Hello.
Cannot hear. People.
Any technical flag?
Ali sir. Hello, Kuttu.
Hello, Pradeep.
Sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I visible now? Should I
Not
keep
yet, sir.
should I keep my video on?
Yes, sir, you can keep.
Hello?
Yes, sir, you can keep, sir.
Am I visible?
Not yet, no.
No, no.
Yes, sir, now you are visible. Alisa, everyone is present or not? Sir? Our distinguished guests are present or not? Should we start?
Not audible. Simply wasting time.
Audio is not available. Hello.
Please bear with us. So we are
No, no.
going to start shortly.
No, no.
Hello, sir. Sir, Lumding, sir. Sir. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Sir. Sir, you can start, sir. Pudip, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm ready.
Pudip Das, sir. Who?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes.
Encore, yeah? You can
Yes,
start.
sir.
We can
Hello?
start now.
Okay.
We can start now, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir, then.
Sir, lock the meeting.
A very
Lock the
good morning
meeting
to all
first.
of you. At the very outset, I am Pradeep Chandra Das. Would like to convey my regards to all distinguished personalities present here in the web meeting today. And on behalf of Lumding College
Thank you.
fraternity
Thank you.
and behalf of myself, I sincerely welcome and thank you all learned participants, guests, and dear students for taking part from different parts of the country in the proposed national webinar on the topic, the Northeast India, a synthesis of multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism, organized by Department of English in collaboration with IQAC Lumding College. Gandhiji
Hello,
rightly
sir.
said,
Hello, sir. This is Dr. Miraz Alam Nihal from Bihar. and you are not audible, sir. Pradeep sir is not audible. Please raise your voice. Yes, sir. You are not audible. Please clear the audio. Clear the audio, sir. Thank you.
Hello?
Now who is speaking?
Hello,
We
is it
can't
audible?
understand. Everybody, please mute your audio.
Sir, I, Dr.
Am I audible now?
Mehal, I am saying that was not audible.
Am
No,
I audible
no.
now?
Who is the host now? Who is presenting now?
Please
Oh,
mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Please, dear
okay, sir.
participants,
Thank you.
mute yourself.
Please tell your name at least.
Please, dear participants, mute yourself. The meeting is going on right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Gandhiji rightly said, a nation's culture resides in the hearts and in the soul of its people. Culture is the way we express our tradition. Indian culture is very special to all Indians, even to all people around the world. A beautiful culture where each state deals with separate culture. So India is the only country that deals with several traditions. These traditions are followed by many countries from the ancient times. And the Northeast India is uniquely special in this regards. With these thoughts in mind, may I now introduce such a great personality and dynamic leader of Lumding College administration who has done a lot for the development and progress of the college from time to time since he has taken the charge. He is a man of few words, but lot of actions with sincerity and dedication. He is Mr. Shekhar Chakraborty, Honorable President of Governing Body of the College. I sincerely request President Sir to inaugurate the webinar officially for today's session. Please, sir.
Thank you, Pradeep sir. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
You are audible. You are audible, sir.
Okay, fine.
Lock the meeting first.
I actually can't see any faces out there. Yes, thank you. Namaskar. Such introduction. Thanks a lot. Too much actually. Anyway, first of all, Dr. Miranda for taking initiatives to organize of English on major issues in English grammar. This was actually our resource person was Dr. Ventudas, and it was really a thought-provoking. I must congratulate the whole department for organizing these sessions. Sure, it will be valuable for students and researchers. And today we have webinar on Northeast India, a synthesis of multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism. We are expecting a very good session today from Dr. Anup Kumarte, Associate Professor, Department of English, from University. Now, beauty of years lies in the mutual coexistence of different linguistic people. This region of India is a rainbow of diversity.
Not audible, sir. Not audible. Please louder.
Immemorial. Am I not audible?
No.
Is it right for me?
Distractions are there, sir.
Restriction is there. Okay. Please,
Louder, louder. Words are not clear.
yeah, fine. So we are expecting a very good session today from Dr. Anup Kumar also. And as you know, this Northeast is known for its diverse cultural and linguistic communities. This region of India remains like a rainbow of diverse cultures and languages from time immemorial. Uh, Here, different ethnic groups, as you know, have been living fully without sacrificing their own culture. That is the beauty of this India's Northeast. Now, before I go to this one, before handing over this for the discussion by Dr. Ron, let us have some discussion on the key words that have been taken here. Now, multiculturalism, the first word, the word that describes a society where many different cultures of people, living together, is the fact of culture. A multicultural society will be composed of people from different ethnic backgrounds and cultures living and working together. In such society, people from different ethnic groups link with one another's culture, show their acceptance to one another's culture and background. But multicultural societies fail to create inclusion of different cultures. And here starts the conflict. Anyway, India's Northeast also no exception to it. People live alongside one another, but each cultural group does not necessarily have engaging interactions. One, sometimes it happens as in other places. Next, if we go with polyculturalism, it's a belief how different racial and ethnic groups interact and influence one another's culture over time and continuity. So this is also we have seen in Northeast how one culture influences the other. I'm not going to take discussion because they would discuss all this. Whereas interculturalism is moving beyond mere basic acceptance of culture. Instead, it believes in developing deep understanding and respect for all. This is something we have seen. This is why for all these years, the mutual coexistence is here, in spite of all this diversity. Now, intercultural communication focuses primarily on the mutual exchange of ideas and cultural norms and the development of deep relationships. Creates a bond in spite of all the differences in culture. In an intercultural society, no one is left unscathed because everyone learns from one another and grows. But the synthesis of all these clearly visible. Probably this is the reason why this particular topic is useful. A better understanding of all these. So without wasting any more time, I would like to conclude as we have to listen a lot from the Proponents of Polyculturalism. So thank you everyone for your patience here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and inspiration. Now, may I request our beloved principal, sir, Dr. Mrinal Kantipal, to welcome and address the webinar. Please, sir.
Okay, namaskar, sir. First of all, I thanks to our honorable president, sir, Shri Shekhar Chakraborty, sir. Namaskar. Good morning to everybody. Respected resource person, Dr. Anup Kumar De, HOD of English, Assam University, Difu campus. Honorable President of the governing body, Lumding College, Sri Shekhar Chakraborty. Sir, my dear colleagues, students and esteemed participants, you are most heartily welcome to the national webinar on Northeast India, a synthesis of multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism, organized by the Department of English, Lumding College, in collaboration with the IQAC of the Lumding College today. The topic of the webinar is relevant and interesting. I hope with your cooperation and active participation, the webinar will be a grand success. I wish you all the
Louder.
best.
Louder.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Now,
Thank you.
now over to
Sir.
Pradip Das, sir.
Yes, thank you, Principal Sir, for your kind words and best wishes for the webinar. Now, may I request our HOD, Department of English, Lumding College, Muhammad Suleiman Ali Sir, to welcome and introduce before us the erudite scholar and great
Start the meeting,
personality
sir.
and the speaker of the session, Dr. Anup Kumar De, HOD, Department of English,
It is
Assam
already
University,
11:30.
Diffu campus. Please, sir, may I request Muhammad Suleiman Ali sir to welcome and introduce our speaker. Please, sir.
Thank you, Pradeep. Good morning to everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Am
Yeah,
I
yeah.
audible?
Correctly, you are audible,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Please.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
we can hear. You are audible, sir.
Respected President, Mr. Thakur Chakraborty, governing body Lumding College, respected resource person, Dr. Anup Kumar De, Assam University, Diffu campus, our honorable principal, Dr. Milan Pal, and esteemed participants from different parts of India. It is a matter of great pleasure for the Department of English of Lumding College to have organized today's national webinar on Northeast India, a synthesis of multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism. Friends, Lumding College is one of the leading NAC accredited colleges in the state of Assam. It caters to the needs of higher education in all the streams of arts, science, and commerce. Northeast India, one of the most beautiful regions of India, is also known as the Seven Sisters. It includes Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, and Tripura states. Northeast is connected to the rest of the country by a narrow stretch of land between Bhutan and Bangladesh, and surrounded by extremely sensitive frontier with Chinese occupied Tibet and 1,600 kilometer long border with Myanmar. It is a land of undulating hills and plains with luxuriant green cover and a wide variety of rare and exotic flora and fauna. Each of these states is more beautiful than the other, each with its own culture and beliefs, each having its own charm. Northeast is home to diverse tribes and communities. If anyone is to see unity in diversity, it is in this far-flung, enchanting part of India wherein cultural beauty and calm atmosphere far from the maddening crowd and ignoble strife, a composite culture has emanated from the symphony of cultures of different tribes and communities. The objective of today's webinar is to focus on the synthesis of multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism beautifying the Northeast India. We have an eminent resource person in the webinar to talk on its topic. He is Dr. Anup Kumar De from Assam University, Diffu campus. Let me say a few words about the respected resource person. Dr. Anup Kumar De did his post-graduation in English and MPhil from Assam University, Silchar, Assam. He has also done his PhD on the plays of Arthur Miller in the same university. He is currently an associate professor and head of the Department of English, Assam University, Thimphu campus. His research papers are published in many well-reputed international journals and edited books. His book, quote, Quest for Identity in Arthur Miller's Plays, unquote, is published by Scholar Press, Germany. He has completed one minor research project under University Grant Commission on the poetry of Margaret Atwood. He has completed another research project on Jimmy Naga with National Security Council, Government of India. He is associated with the Central Institute of Indian Languages, Mysore, as the nominee of the Minister of Human Resources Development, Government of India. His areas of interest include drama studies, post-colonial studies, contemporary Black British literature, Indian writings in English, and Northeast Indian literature. So we shall hear a lot of things about multiculturalism, etc. from our respected research person. Let us extend our client cooperation to him. So over to Dr. Anup Kumar De. Sir, please start.
Thank you, Suleiman sir. Respected President of the governing body, respected Principal sir, other teachers of Lumding College, and participants from all across the country. Now, this pandemic has taken so much from us, but at the same time, it has also given so much to us. Now, 4 months back, we could not thought of organizing this sort of webinar where the participants from all across the country would participate sitting on their own, you can say, comfort zone, maybe at home or at office, and participate in a discussion regarding a topic which is very relevant for their own research purpose, but at the same time which is also dear to certain other sections of the society. Now, because of this pandemic, a lot of things have happened. All these webinars are organized. Most of the webinars are organized keeping in mind the academic activities which is going on in different academic institutions. And participants also participate or come and join because of their, you can say, different purposes also. Some may come for the participation certificate, some may come for the genuine academic interest. So, but the thing is that it has given a new scope to us. Now, when I was asked to say something on this particular webinar, I was little bit confused because my research area is also one of my research areas.
Dr. Anup De, sir, you are not audible, sir. Dr. AKD, sir, you are not audible, sir.
Sir, there, sir. Sound is not available.
I think he is there. Dr. AKD, sir, you are not audible.
Differences are more than the similarities. So I was little bit confused. But we all know that in multicultural, this particular term is widely used in the context of Northeast society. That Northeast society is also a multicultural society. Same way, polyculturalism and interculturalism, these are also applied widely in other parts of the world, and so I was initially thinking of framing my topic as Northeast India, issues of multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism, because when we talk of these three terms, multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism, apparently these are different from each other. There are some, you can say, meeting points, but differences are more than the similarities. And whether these can be a kind of situation where we can understand these three phenomenon in the context of Northeast. So I was little bit confused. Then I thought that let me point out the synthesis, that there is a synthesis among these apparently opposite ideas, and Northeast is an example of the synthesis. Now, why I say that it's a Northeast is an example of the synthesis of the apparently opposite concepts of multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism. That one. Now, when we talk of multiculturalism, we all know that multiculturalism is studied in the context of sociology, political philosophy, and it has also philosophical underpinnings. Now, sometimes multiculturalism is also used in the context of ethnic pluralism. Sometimes it is used as a synonym to ethnic pluralism, cultural pluralism. Now, these are the terms that are normally used in order to understand the term multiculturalism. Now, multiculturalism is also in American context. It is considered as something which idealizes or symbolizes salad bowl or cultural mosaic. And it is something, a contrast to the melting pot, the concept of melting pot, which was there in the early part of the 20th century America, that was negated by the subsequent, you can say, the philosophers and political philosophers, as well as social scientists, and they preferred to call American society as a multicultural society, having the, you can say, the ideas of salad bowl, all the cultural mosaic. When we talk of salad bowl, in salad we find that there are different components, there are different ingredients, and these ingredients can be differentiated very easily. We can easily identify the ingredients, these are visible, but together they give a different kind of taste. So this concept of salad bowl is used to understand the concept of multiculturalism in America. Whereas in case of melting pot, it is something you can say assimilation of the fringe cultures into the so-called the master culture. So that particular concept was negated by the you can say the propagators of multiculturalism. Now, multiculturalism proponents they reject this concept of melting pot ideal because in melting pot ideal we find that minority groups were they were forced to assimilate into the dominant culture, and in the process they try to give they were forced to sacrifice their identity and take the dominant culture and identity as their own identity. So the proponents of multiculturalism they negate this particular aspect. Now this is also you can say to some extent this particular multiculturalism concept is also popularized by the political philosophers who talk about immigration, who fights for the rights of the immigrants in American society, and they say that this melting pot ideal is not suitable, where the minority communities are forced to assimilate their identities in the dominant you can say ideology. So multiculturalism according to them give a you can say fairer condition for the immigrant population, and it's a kind of inclusion of the divergent groups, and together they give a new kind of you can say identity. Now this multiculturalism is also it's a kind of reaction to the contemporary nation state handling of cultural diversity, because this nation state this contemporary notion of nation state, it also to some extent negates the possibility of having cultural diversity. Now multiculturalism also denies the notion of cultural hierarchy, that there should not be any such hierarchy where a particular culture is considered as superior to other cultures, and rather they talk about the mutual existence of different cultures by keeping their own you can say cultural identity separate. Now there are so many critics. We all know that the most dominant critic who talk about multiculturalism in the initial phase of its you can say when it was coming into force, C. Jameson Trotman, he said that several in history several disciplines were neglected. We find that the women and the marginal communities were not given their rights, proper rights, and they were made to suffer. And Trotman said that only through a multicultural society, all the communities, all the ethnic groups, they can you can say culture their own things. Am I audible? Is there any disturbance? Is there any disturbance?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Now another very prominent name in this particular field is Bhikkhu Parekh. Now Bhikkhu Parekh, he also he develops another understanding in this particular discourse of multiculturalism. He says that in a multicultural society, sometimes the people they face a sort of demand for special rights. That certain communities should have special rights. and Viku Parekh says these demands for the special rights, these are actually nothing but a kind of racism, that that we are different, and we should be given the rights to protect our differences and different identity. And in the process, Viku Parekh says, in the process, actually racism is encouraged. Now he says that instead of that, he says that we should not talk about minority culture only. We should not talk about special rights for the minority culture only. We should not talk about that the certain sections of the society should be given some kind of reservation. So Viku Parekh says that by giving this kind of special rights, a society cannot flourish. A multicultural society cannot flourish. Rather, there should be an endeavor to have a proper understanding among the communities, among the different ethnic groups, among different cultural communities, and it should be based on the principle of justice. It should not be based on the principle of any sort of privileges. Rather, it should be based on the principle of justice. Just justice should be given to all the people cutting across their cultural identities, and there should be a kind of thorough and an open and equal dialogue among these communities. Now another very important phenomenon, and that's why Northeast India comes into the picture, because multiculturalism also gives rise to identity politics, or politics of differences, or politics of recognition, we can say. Now, because when you say that a society is multicultural, that means there are different cultural identities. Now, when you say different cultural identities, then the identity politics comes into the picture. Then the politics of difference also comes into the picture, that we are different. Our community is different from your community. So this self and other, that binary also operates. Then the question comes, the question of recognition. Be given the recognition, we should be recognized in the constitutional framework, or through other mechanism. We should be recognized. We should be recognized as belonging to certain categories. So this politics of identity, politics of difference, and politics of recognition, these are the natural offshoots of multiculturalism, and we cannot avoid this particular phenomenon. And when we talk of Northeast India, we found that over the years, and particularly in the last few decades, we have seen these politics of identity, politics of difference, and politics of recognition have surfaced. There are so many, you can say, demands that certain communities should be included in under certain categories. It may be scheduled tribe or scheduled caste, or other categories, OBC, non-creamier, in this way. So this special rights, demand for special rights is there. And then the politics of recognition is also there, that our community has to be recognized under certain schedule of our constitution. So these are the normal natural offshoots of multiculturalism, and which we experience. Now, I am not giving any kind of judgment whether these are proper or not, whether these identity politics of difference or politics of recognition, whether these are proper, right or wrong. I am not giving any kind of judgment, but I'm just saying, so these are the natural phenomenon which comes out from this multicultural discourse. Now, that's why multiculturalism includes the claims of identity and culture, and at the same time it talks of differences more than the similarities, and it also talks about, when we talk of culture and when we talk of ethnic identity, but at the same time we find corollary to that, we also find the financial interest, then political interest. All these things comes up. That certain sections of the society should be given certain kind of safeguards. So all these things come up. Now in Northeast India also these things are coming up, and we cannot avoid of all these tendencies. These are good or bad, I'm not giving any kind of judgment. Now this notion of culture, when you say culture, now culture talks of homogeneity. In popular construct, when we talk of culture, it talks of homogeneity. That certain culture, when we talk of a particular culture, so we try to find out homogeneity in that particular culture. So in that way, that culture is identified. Now, this concept of multiculturalism is actually somewhat opposite to that particular construct of culturalism. Now, it says that multiculturalism says it says that culture is not static. Multiculturalism is saying that culture is not static. It is always evolving. It is always evolving. So there is no such thing when a particular community can say that our culture has to be preserved and it should be preserved as it is. Now, multiculturalism talks about the changes, talks about the evolution of culture in association when a particular culture comes into contact with another culture, and through that it evolves, through that it grows. Now, so this is one aspect, and second aspect is also which is very problematic in the case of Northeast India, is that it deconstructs the concept of multiculturalism, deconstructs the notion of domestic culture, that there is a domestic culture. Now, multiculturalism says that no, there cannot be any such kind of thing called domestic culture, because even though a particular group which is having a particular cultural identity, it may be on the fringe, it may be on the margin, but it has its own right. It has its own, you can say, rights to talk about its identity, talk about its recognition, and talk about its identity. So this, and you cannot make a particular culture, cultural, you can say, particular community to accept the culture of another community. So this is you can say, this is what we find in multiculturalism, concept of multiculturalism, that it denies the possibility of having any dominant or domestic culture. Now, multiculturalism in this way, when we analyze this particular thing, we find that they also talk about minority culture. That minority culture, the minority groups should be encouraged to exercise their cultural identity, and they should, in the process, they should commit to national integrity and national identity. Now, when we switch over to polyculturalism, now polyculturalism is somewhat opposite to that concept of multiculturalism, in the sense that multiculturalism talks of diversity. Multiculturalism talks of coexistence of divergent cultures, and polyculturalism talks about homogeneous coexistence, but at the same time it is pointing out the similarities more than the differences, whereas multiculturalism talks about the differences, that our ethnic community is different from your ethnic community. This is what we find We may have certain differences between us, among us, but we have also similarity. Now, in the context of in the process, they blur the boundaries, which is there, which exist among the different communities, that we are different. So polyculturalism says no, we may have some differences, but our similarities are more than that, the differences, and we should culture our similarities more than our differences. Now this is where polyculturalism is different from multiculturalism. Now in the context of Northeast India, what we find? We find that there are different communities, ethnic communities, and if we, surprisingly, if we explore their myths, explore their legends, explore their cultural history, we found a lot of similarities are there. If you have studied the creation myth of different communities, ethnic communities of Northeast India, you will find lot of similarities. Lot of similarities between Bodo creation myth and Dimasa creation myth. You will find the similarities with the Jemi Naga creation myth, with that of Karbi creation myth. Means you will find lot of similarities. So the polyculturalism, it talks about those similarities, and say and not only the similarities, but polyculturalism, it also talks about inheriting the similar type of tradition. Means certain groups, certain ethnic communities who are residing in a certain geographical area. Polyculturalists, they are saying that they also inherit, all these ethnic communities, they also inherit certain kind of common cultural heredity. Now this can be traceable in Northeast India also. If we go back to the root of most of the communities, we'll find that they share certain commonalities. They came from almost all these groups. They originated from the same geographical areas, and to certain point of time they shared their cultural, you can say, similarities, and then gradually, when in the passage of time, they may have you can say diverted their directions, but there are certain meeting points. So polyculturalism talks about this inheritance of the similar cultural history among the ethnic communities coming from a specific geographical location. Now this particular concept of polyculturalism was mainly popularized by two important
Louder, sir.
two important political and social philosophers. One is Robin Kelly, another is Vijay Prasad.
Not audible.
Now these two you can say social scientists, they developed this particular concept of polyculturalism. And when we
Not audible, sir.
am I not audible?
Yeah, some network issue, I guess.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Now you are clear, sir. Perfect.
Okay. It is due to low network or poor network.
Your
Now,
video is not available, sir. We can't see the video.
okay, that is maybe due to poor network. So please bear with me. So we are from Northeast India, and we have so many such issues. Okay, now continuing my discussion, polyculturalism, it talks about opposition to the concept of multiculturalism, in the sense that multiculturalism talks about separateness, separateness, and polyculturalism talks about similarities. Now, and they say that multiculturalists, they talk about cohesion, and they talk, and multiculturalists and polyculturalists, they talk about you can say coexistence. Now what we find in polyculturalism, another very important aspect is that polyculturalism, when they talk about similarities, when they talk of similarities among the different ethnic communities, at the same time they also encourage individual to learn about their own culture as well as different cultures. Means when you were in a particular geographical location and you are exposed to different cultural different cultures, it is that you will also
sorry okay, sir, please, sorry for disturbance, sir.
Yes,
could you please on the video, sir?
Okay, my video is
actually
Anup sir's video is on, sir.
Is it okay?
It is compulsory to make everybody go on their video, sir. It is better, I guess.
Please.
Mr. Sanvit, please mute yourself. I'm
sir,
talking to Akedi, sir. Please
okay, is it
on
is
the
it
audio.
Am I visible now?
Coming yet, sir? No, sir, not yet, sir. Actually, sir, YouTube recording is going on. That's why, sir, I requested you.
Okay, but here it is shown that it is visible.
Yes, Anup sir's video is visible. He has on this video.
Okay. But
I think.
But voice is echoing.
Yes.
Voice is echoing.
Voice is clear, sir. Now.
Okay. Thank you so much. No,
sir. Sir, 1 minute, sir. Carmel, sir. Hello, Alisa. Hello, Alisa. Hello, Alisa.
Yes.
Hello, Alisa.
Yes, sir. Speaking.
Pradeep, any problem?
Sir, Dr. Akedi sir is visible on your screen?
No, Pradeep. I have been messaging also. Sorry, it's not visible on my screen.
Yes, sir. Actually, on the screen, you are not visible, sir.
Many participants have been messaging this.
Actually, there is a low bandwidth. That's the problem.
At least share the content, sir.
Okay.
So it is visible.
Okay, sir. If it is problematic, then it's no problem, sir. Please carry on, sir. Akedi sir, please carry on. No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please, sorry for interruption,
Okay.
sir.
No, it's okay.
No, just a suggestion.
And participant, please mute yourself.
Okay, sorry.
So let me resume from that particular point. Now, polyculturalism talks of my voice is echoing, I think.
No, sir, it's clear. Quite fine, sir.
Okay. The multiculturalism talks of separateness, whereas polyculturalism talks of celebration of similarities rather than the differences. But at the same time, polyculturalism doesn't negate that a particular culture should not cherish, should not celebrate its own cultural identity. It is not like that. Polyculturalism said that no, you can celebrate you should celebrate your identities. You should celebrate your cultural distinctiveness, and it encourages individual to culture the different you can say am I audible? Lot of noises are coming actually.
Sir.
Okay. So the proponents of polyculturalism, they encourage the individual to learn about different cultures especially to whom they come across, in addition to their own culture. So in Northeast India, we find if we come to Northeast India, I'm talking of the participants who are from other parts of the country. If we come to Northeast India, you will find, even if you go to a very small kind of village, you will find a lot of people who can talk in more than 2-3 languages. If you come to any town area, any small town, you will find even a shopkeeper talks in 5-6 languages. Now, and they have the, you can say, understanding of different cultural traits of different communities. Now these things come very naturally. It's not that they have to give some kind of effort to learn that. It comes just naturally. So but that doesn't mean that they have to sacrifice their own cultural identity. So by own cultural identity also, they are exposed to other cultures. They learn the intricacies of other cultures. They learn the things which are there in other cultures. And this is the beauty of Northeast India, and that's why we can say that whether they were you can say aware of the cultural you can say mosaic of Northeast India, about that, but that kind of thing is very much visible in Northeast India. So in that way, it's a perfect example of polyculturalism. Now multiculturalism advocates the idea of toleration between number of distinct communities. They talk about tolerance, that you have to exist mutually and you have to tolerate others. This we find in multiculturalism. So question of tolerance and intolerance comes here. Polyculturalism doesn't plunge itself into that debate of tolerance or intolerance, because it says that you need not have to tolerate the other culture. You need not have to tolerate the identity. You can say the things which are there in other culture. Rather, you have to acknowledge that you have your own distinctive cultural identity, and in that way others have also distinctive cultural identity, and there is and you are all together, and in the process the society is constructed. So it is something beyond toleration, is beyond something beyond the discourse of tolerance and intolerance. And Northeast India, we find that although there are some such incidents where ethnic clashes happen, but these are all temporary things, and these the clashing cultures also, clashing communities also, they understand each other's interest. They start living together. So that's why in Northeast India we don't find any kind of cultural compartmentalization, that certain section of people won't go to certain section of other. So these kind of things we don't find, and this is also reflected in Northeast literature. If we go to the literature written by any Northeast writer, you will find the reflection of it. Now this comes very naturally, even if you find in different literary texts talking about clashes, ethnic clashes, but then also we find that a kind of negotiation is there, and negotiation is not based on the ideal of tolerance. Rather, negotiation is based on the principle of mutual understanding and mutual acceptance. So in that sense, polyculture is best you can say exemplified in Northeast India. Now, polyculturalism also you can say recognizes the concept of ethnicity and ethno-national, and it says that ethno-nationalism is a barrier. When you talk of ethno-nationalism or the concept of sub-nationalism, polyculturalism says that this is a kind of a barrier, because we have to go beyond it, something which cannot confine us within our own community only. Now, next concept, that is interculturalism. Now, this interculturalism talks of interaction among the different cultures. Now, which is not very, you can say, different from multiculturalism and polyculturalism, because in multiculturalism we find the interaction among the cultures in a different way from polyculturalism. But in polyculturalism also we find a kind of interaction. But in interculturalism, we find that the proponents of interculturalism, they give emphasis on two important aspects. One is language. That language can be a kind of platform to facilitate intercultural exchanges, or you can say exchanges among the different cultural or ethnic communities. And language can be a kind of platform, can be a kind of medium. Now, in Northeast India, we find that this is very much there. If we go to Nagaland, you will find that there are different ethnic communities. What we term as Naga, the identity Naga is not a singular identity. There are different communities among the Nagas also. Sema Naga, then Ao, ethnic identity. They have their language, they have their own culture. And if you will find that if you go to Nagaland, you will find that they maintain a kind of you can say compartmentalization to that extent that you will find Sema village, means where you will find most of the villagers are belonging to Sema tribe. In that way, Jeliangrong village, Ao village, Ongame village. So they still maintain that kind of separateness, but they have a common platform. When they interact with each other, they have a common language, and that language is called Nagamis. Now, when an Ongami Naga talks with an Ao Naga, their medium of communication is Nagamis on most occasions. Nagamis. Now, of course, recently English and to some extent Hindi has also replaced Nagamis, but still Nagamis is the most popular medium through which they interact with each other. So language is a very important medium. Here it becomes a very important medium, a platform through which different cultural groups, they negotiate, they interact with each other. In case of most of the parts of Assam, particularly Brahmaputra Valley, we find Assamese as the medium of exchange, communication. Now, here interculturalism talks about the medium of language as you can say, talks of the importance of language as a medium of cultural exchange. But at the same time, it is not saying that when we choose a medium, cultural exchange or intercultural exchange, it is not necessary that we have to accept that this medium is the most dominant medium. This medium is the most acceptable medium. Interculturalism doesn't talk about that. That when we accept that suppose Assamese as the lingua franca among different communities in Brahmaputra Valley, mostly Brahmaputra Valley, but this doesn't negate the, you can say, the possibility of other languages to enjoy the supremacy. It's not that when a particular person belonging to another linguistic group, if he is negotiating with another person and the language is Assamese, which is not the mother tongue of either of these two, but the common language is Assamese, this doesn't mean that they are accepting Assamese as a superior language. It's not that. Interculturalism doesn't talk about that supremacy of a particular medium through which different cultures interacts. It doesn't talk about that kind of supremacy of a particular medium. Now, second thing is interculturalism talks of some common festivals. That through festivals also different cultures they interconnected, they negotiate, they interact with each other. Now, suitable medium, festival may be another suitable medium when the communities, different communities, they celebrate the festival of one particular group or ethnic community. It doesn't mean they are accepting the supremacy of that particular ethnic community. This is also not the case according to the interculturalist philosophers. Now, second thing which comes to the picture in the context of Northeast is the appearance of a foreign language. Appearance of a foreign language in the as a common platform, as a common medium of cultural exchange. In Northeast India, we find English, although it's a foreign language, foreign in the sense that it originates from a foreign country, but now English has become a medium. So it is not necessary that that medium of exchange should originate from that particular geographical location. It may be something which is from another part of the world. So that possibility is there, and again, in when a particular language is spoken by different communities, for example, Bengali is used by different communities in Northeast India as well as in other parts of West Bengal and Bangladesh also. Now, all these people, that Bengali is their mother tongue, they say that I'm talking in Bengali, but there are variations in dialect. So they may be using the same language, but they are using various variants of that particular language. So in that way also in Northeast India, you will find so many variants of a particular language. Assamese has so many variants. The people from Upper Assam, they when they speak Assamese, their Assamese is their variant is something different from the speaker of Assamese from Lower Assam. So, but they also enjoy a kind of homogeneity in the sense that they are speaking in the same language, but with variations, with variant, you can say variations. Now, in Northeast India, now let me come to the final part. That is how we find a kind of synthesis. Now, when we talk of interculturalism, particularly one theorist who comes to our mind at at the topmost, you can say, she's Raiman Panikkar. And Raiman Panikkar talks about, he links religion and philosophy also when he's talking about intercultural exchanges, that how religion and philosophy can become a kind of medium of exchange among the different cultures. That India we find that kind of thing, that there are different divergent ethnic groups, and they practice their own individual distinctive religious things, but there are a lot of similarities among these ethnic communities also. As I have already mentioned, that lot of similarities are there in the creation myths also. So in religious festivals also we find so many similarities. Even in their lifestyle also, in their philosophy of life also, we find lot of similarities. Now, for example, when we talk of sun synchronization, the concept of sun synchronization, now we find that other than the human world, in rest of the animal world, we find that the rest of the animals, they maintain sun synchronization very strictly. Sun synchronization means their life starts with the rising of the sun, and then there is a break at the setting of the sun. Now, in animal world, the sun synchronization is very common. If we come to Northeast India, we find that till recently, this practice of sun synchronization was very popular. Of course, due to the impact of modernization and globalization and other things, you can say because of electricity and other developments, this sun synchronization it is no more practiced in most of the parts of Northeast India. But once upon a time, not very in the remote in the recent past, we find that this concept of sun synchronization was very much there among most of the ethnic communities of Northeast India. Of life, and this is a kind of common platform through which these communities they negotiate among themselves. Then we find that there are certain similarities even in the practice of rituals. For example, the birth rituals, the rituals which are associated with the birth of a child or the death of an individual. So this in rituals also we find a lot of similarities. So Raiman Panikkar is talking about the linkage of religion and philosophy in when these different cultures they interact with each other, and how this religion and philosophy they become a kind of medium of exchange. Now, why I have clearly stated that in Northeast India there we find a kind of synthesis of these apparently contrasting concepts, because multiculturalism and polyculturalism are different from each other, as I have already pointed out. But in Northeast India, we find a kind of synthesis. Synthesis means the synthesis how? Because we find that here the identity politics is also there. Identity, the politics of recognition is also there. The separateness of distinctive, or you can say separateness of culture is also there. Distinctiveness of individual culture is there, and they are very much protective regarding their own cultural identity. Most of very protective, but at the same time, they are also open to negotiation. They recognize the beauty of other cultures. They don't shy away from sharing some of the ideas which are not prevalent in their own culture, but which is there in other cultures, and they don't shy away from practicing all these things. So this is a perfect example of the synthesis between the two apparently opposite ideas, that is multiculturalism and polyculturalism in Northeast India. So Northeast, most of the ethnic groups, they are very protective, but at the same time, they are open to other communities also. There may be some kind of identity politics. They may be, you can say, quite aware of their rights and you can say distinctive cultural identities, and they want protection, privileges, safeguards. But at the same time, on most cases, we don't find that they prefer that other communities should suffer because of their protectiveness. So this kind of openness is there in Northeast India, and this is the beauty of Northeast culture. Now, this has given the way to intercultural exchanges. So that's why I have said that Northeast is a perfect example where we find the synthesis of this multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism. Now, why I have taken up this particular topic? Because research scholars, when they come to work on Northeast literature and Northeast, because I come from a literature subject, so I can talk of literature. But in other disciplines also, particularly in social science disciplines, when the researchers come and they express their interest in doing research in Northeast culture, or Northeast culture and Northeast identity, they are confused regarding these concepts, this multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism, and sometimes they take it in a wrong way, because all these, as I have already said, that these constructs are of foreign origin, and these are applicable in the context of the cultures of some other countries. And when we bring these concepts and apply it in our context, sometimes it becomes problematic. So when I have taken up this particular topic, my idea is to get it clear to the prospective researchers who want to work on Northeast studies, to have a very clear kind of conception regarding these three constructs, these three concepts, and approach these things in that particular manner. So this is my idea. This is my you can say intention when I have taken up this particular topic. Whether I have made justice to this topic, I'm not sure. But even if it has given some kind of you can say assistance to any research scholar or prospective research scholar, I think it would be I'll consider it as my success in this particular webinar. So once again, thank you all for patiently hearing me. There are some technical issues, and you have accepted it as it is, because in webinar, this is something which is very common. We cannot avoid this. Poor network and other things are very common. So thank you all. Thank you the staffs and other members of Lumding, principal, respected president of the governing body, the coordinator, Mr. Suleiman Ali, and other faculty members, and also all the participants for patiently hearing me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are really thank you a lot for this wonderful session, especially from my side, because from your sessions, it is really fantastic to know about all these things related to Northeastern India. And mostly, I believe that the participants from different parts of the country would be delighted to know all these things very clearly, distinctly. And you have really done wonderful job, sir. You have enlightened us, make us knowledgeable also regarding the multiculturalism coexistence with differences, with a lot of benefits and beauty. Polyculturalism with inheritance of similarities, commonalities, and most importantly, beyond the tolerance and intolerance. That is the excellency in Northeast Indian culture. And interculturalism also you have very, very meticulously discussed, sir. Talks of medium of communications through language, festivals with supremacy as such. So you have talked of the beauty of synthesis of negotiation among cultures of Northeast India. You have meticulously discussed the topic, sir. Once again, thank you so much, sir. Now, it is time to take a few questions, if you permit, sir.
Yes, of course.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. One participant, Rituparna, they asked, what is the position of those born with different mother tongue in a state, primarily speaking a different language? They are often shamed for not knowing their own language and also other one particular perfectly. This is her question, sir.
Okay. As I have already told you that in polyculturalism, language plays a very important role, and it becomes a kind of medium of exchanges among the cultures. You were talking of a particular. My voice is echoing, I think. Okay. Now, is it clear? Okay. Now, you were talking of a situation where a particular person, he or she is not very comfortable in speaking in his or her mother language. Now, it may happen. It may happen, particularly when you are in that particular setup where there are exchanges of divergent cultures, and when you belong to a particular community, linguistic community, which is not very dominant, whose presence is not very felt, that sometimes it may happen. Sometimes it may happen. Now, the point is that if any such person feels shy of his or her own language, we cannot help too much in this particular regard. But the interculturalism talks about, as well as polyculturalism also talks about the respect and regard for other languages, and it negates the possibility of supremacy of any particular language. Now, supremacy of and it has also become a kind of debate also, and so many movements have also come up because of this particular issue, this question of supremacy or imposition of a particular language on other ethnic groups or other groups. So this has happened previously also, and this is something very natural and normal also. Now, polyculturalism is saying that when you culture your own language, at the same time you should also culture other languages, which is fruitful to you, which is beneficial to you, without having any kind of hatred, sense of hatred, or any kind of otherwise feeling regarding that particular language, or thinking that the language of another particular community is superior to my own language. So without suffering from that kind of preconceived notions, one should respect its own culture, own identity, as well as other culture and other languages also. Now, multiculturalism also talks about that you have to maintain your own distinctive culture, you have to maintain your own distinctiveness in terms of language and other aspects, and you have to tolerate others. Polyculturalism says that this debate of toleration is not there, or intolerance is not there. Rather, you have to accept everything as your own. Now, this in that way we can approach language. I'm not sure whether I have satisfied you or not, but at this point, this much I can tell you.
Thank you, sir. You are really very, very correct, sir. And believe me, sir, personally, I know Karbi language like my mother tongue.
Okay.
Yeah, I can speak the language. Even I can write in that language. And I learned this language informally, just like my mother tongue, sir. Whatever you said, sir, every sentence, every word is acceptable, sir. And this is what has to be there in Northeastern India. Sir, there is one more question from Anil Kumar Sharma. He said like this, sir, do you agree that development planning should be prepared state-wise, not as a whole, as each of the 7 sectors has its own?
Mr. Pradeep, can you repeat the question, because your audio is disturbing.
Okay, sir. I'm reading slowly then. Anil Kumar Sharma has asked this, sir.
Yes.
Do you agree that development planning should be prepared? Yes, like this, sir. Sir, do you agree that development planning should be prepared state-wise, not as a whole, as of the 7 sisters has its own specific concerns?
Yes, definitely, because the requirement of a particular state is different from the requirement of another state. If you go to Nagaland, you will find that the infrastructure is much more important than any other things. The road, other things, these are more important than any other things. But if you go to Tripura, you will find that roads are very good. If you come to most parts of Assam, you will find that roads are somewhat good. Of course, due to natural calamities and other things, sometimes it becomes problematic. But in some areas, you will find that the roads are not the main concern. If you go to Sikkim, roads are very good. So it depends. Development strategy should be taken state-wise. In some states, the focus should be on cottage industry and medium scale industry. In some state like Assam, the heavy industry may be given the importance. So in this way, in some state, maybe the weaving can be given the prominence instead of any other cottage industry. So in that way, it should be state-wise. The focus should be state-wise. The strategy should be prepared state-wise. Of the fact.
Yes, sir.
We cannot consider Northeast as a homogeneous entity. Remember that it's not homogeneous. There are there are differences in the sense that different conditions are there, and developmental activity should be done considering these differences.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can I take one more question?
Yes, definitely.
Sir, name is not clearly mentioned here, but question is like this. Is there any difference between the identity quest of the people of Nagaland and the other Northeast states of India?
Yeah, there is a difference, because the identity quest in Nagaland, it has different layers. Different layers in the sense that there is one identity that is called Naga identity. They're talking of Naga identity, but among the Naga groups also there are different. They share different identities. But the same may not be applicable in case of other communities. In case of Karbi, it's not the same. It's the similar, because Karbi people they share the homogeneous identity. So their identity my voice is echoing again. So their quest for identity is different from the quest for identity of Naga people. So there is a difference. We cannot consider them as similar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And with this, the question answer session ends. Now, may I request Mr. N.J.J. Carmelsa, Associate Professor, Department of English, Lumding College, to propose vote of thanks. Please, sir. Carmel, sir, am I audible?
Am I audible, sir, to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Please
So,
carry on, sir.
very good afternoon to all on the webinar now. Having thanked the Lord Almighty for making this webinar successful, I would like to thank, first of all, Dr. Anup Kumar De, our resource person, for his splendid and very, very exhaustive analysis of the present cultural scenario that is going on in the Northeast. Because I myself, belonging to the southern part of India, and I am fortunate enough to serve in this college, and I have been serving past 35 years. And as Professor Pradeep said, every line of you strikes me as I myself understood how important it is to learn the local language. Now I can talk a little bit of local language, the lingua franca part. I can communicate with people, and learning a language is a great asset, sir. And I personally believe in what you said. One who does not know how to love and respect other culture can never have true love and respect for his own culture. That I very strongly believe, unless you have that open-mindedness. And sir, especially I admire your salad bowl and melting pot analogy. Really, so very simple analogy, and you have brought exactly what is happening in this cultural context, and also your self and the binary, this politics of recognition. Yes, that is all very, very practical approach to the current issue, and about deconstruction of the domestic culture, and you spoke of the ethno-nationalism, etc., etc. So, in simple words, you made it very clear that multiculturalism, polyculturalism, and interculturalism. And here, the role of language, what you told, is really very admirable, because the English plays as the key language here in connecting all the 7 states here. So, thank you very much, sir. And we are expecting, and we are looking forward to have your most valuable dissemination of knowledge on similar subjects or similar topics in the days to come. So I personally thank on behalf of the department that may God bless you with good health and long life, sir. And having said that, I'm coming to Professor Mr. Seko Chakravarti, the president of governing body, Lumding College. I will not be exaggerating if I tell that he is the morning star of Lumding College administration. He is the one who brought the renaissance to the total process of administration with novel ideas, novel concepts, and even the pace lifting in the infrastructure excellent. So, sir, I personally thank you for extending your presence and also for giving that very inspiring inaugural speech. Next, I would like also to thank our principal, though it is his routine schedule to address every webinar. He has a special attachment to the English department, and he has really done a very, very, very splendid job in organizing this. And of course, I would like to thank the coordinator of IQAC Lumding College in absentia. And next, my heartfelt gratitude goes to the patient hearing of all the participants, in spite of so many technical drawbacks and also disadvantages. Still, they are very patient to listen to that. I hope they have been benefited by this valuable deliberations done by Professor Dr. Anup Kumar De. Next, I would like to thank all the students, and I also would like to request them to come forward in future to be benefited by such valuable and rare opportunities of acquiring a direct knowledge of Northeastern studies. And of course, I would like also to thank the technicians who are working behind the screen, and especially Mr. Biswajit, who has been the backbone to this entire organization, entire process of webinar. So, with prayers to Lord Almighty to bring healthier and happier days ahead, I thank one and all, and also thanking the Department of English for giving me this opportunity to address this August platform. Thank you, one and all. Now, over to Pradeep. Hello, Mr.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful proposal, a vote of thanks. And I once again thank you all the distinguished personalities and participants and their students for bearing with us and participating and listening to this wonderful and very, 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 very enjoyable topic today. So as a whole, thank you once again to everybody. With this webinar ends here. And for participants, the feedback form will be served in all the groups, and the e-certificates will be provided in 10 to 15 days time. So please bear with us. And once again, I would like to conclude with a line of Robert Frost. Woods are lovely, dark and deep, but miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you so much.